Welcome to the 30-Day Twitter Challenge for Teachers with Eric Langhorst, a step-by-step guide to getting started and getting the most out of Twitter. Hi, my name is Eric, and if you're watching this, hopefully you have completed the 30-day program Twitter for Teachers. I just wanted to thank you so much for participating in the project. If you completed all the different tasks, or even if you just jumped in on a couple of them, I hope that you maybe learned a little bit about how to use Twitter professionally as an educator. I can personally say that in the last 7 years, Twitter has probably become my most valuable resource in connecting with other teachers, as well as contact experts, and just anybody that I want to get in contact with or ask a question for. The first place that I typically go is Twitter. So this program was created as part of my doctoral project for Walden University. The topic that I chose for my dissertation was how social studies teachers use Twitter to collaborate. And I've been on Twitter quite a bit as a teacher, and so a lot of the findings didn't really surprise me. I knew that it was highly collaborative, but we took a lot of research and data about how people particularly use EdChats, the SS chat, EdChat in particular, and it was incredible to see all of the really close personal connections, the great ways that people were sharing resources. But one of the things that I found as I did my research, and it was collaborated with in existing research, was that most of the people that are on Twitter today as teachers also tend to view themselves as techies, people that typically kind of learn technology pretty easily. Maybe somebody shows them something once and they just quickly kind of latch onto it. And so the question became, how do we help those people that maybe would benefit from Twitter but don't consider themselves to be natural techies? Is there something out there that is kind of a way to teach them about Twitter? And there's a great variety of resources. I decided to put this resource together as kind of a gradual 30-day process of talking about a lot of different aspects of Twitter. When people have come up to me before and said, hey, I know that you're on Twitter, could you show me and tell me why I should be on Twitter and how I can be on Twitter? That typically is more than like a half an hour discussion with somebody if I just sit down with them. But it's also sometimes not something that you'd have as like a 2-day, PD session. And so I created this kind of informal type of environment where you could kind of pop in. If you didn't know anything about Twitter, hopefully you started with day one and just kind of progressed through. Maybe you've already used Twitter a little bit and you just kind of popped in at different days to kind of look at resources for specific topics. That's great as well. That's really the purpose of this program. So hopefully you learned a little bit about Twitter. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I love to follow teachers back. On Twitter, I am at @elanghorst. And typically when somebody follows me, if I look at their profile and I see that they're a teacher, I follow them back right away. That's one of the things that we talked about with your Twitter profile. If you have any questions or comments about this program, you can reach me by email at speakingofhistory@gmail.com. And that's also the name of the blog that I've maintained for the last 10 years. So if you go to www.speakingofhistory.com, that's where I blog and have different reflections and ideas about teaching in the classroom. So if you want to check that out, great. I also work with districts. If you want somebody to come in and do PD about social media or using Twitter, that's one of the topics that I talk about, but I do a lot of things with Google tools and all different kinds of things about teaching history with technology and things like that as well. So if you want to contact me about those types of things, that would be great as well. So thanks for participating. Definitely reach out if you need anything from me. But thanks for being with us on this journey, and we'll see you on Twitter. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Please check out the entire collection of tips to help teachers use Twitter at twitterforteachers.com.